Hi there, it's Melissa and I'm really happy to be back with you again. So today I'm sharing a 12 by 12 process video and I'm using the stunning Legendary collection. My product focus is to work with die cut titles, and that was what I just showed you there. And I'm also showing you the other things that I've pulled out that I think are going to work well with this layout. This yellow paper called Wild One is my favourite in the whole collection. A close second would definitely be this matte paper that also has that beautiful wood grain on the back. So I'm wanting to use that matte paper. I've also cut some of the exclusive cut files that Gwen designed to go with Legendary, and they were released during International Scrapbooking Weekend. I've also got a Sizzix die because I needed to cut a few more letters to make some words. So what I did was I went through the pack of die cut titles and just pulled some words that I thought would work with the intention of my layout, which is to scrap this photo of my son going off to high school. And it's his first year at high school. He actually turned 13 during our lockdown at the end of March. And so the words are perfect for all guys really in that pack. You could obviously also use them for other layouts that are not male layouts, but I just pulled the words that I thought would work and then played around with them. It took me a while because I wanted this to be kind of my journaling and be a couple of sentences but also fit on the page. So my plan was to divide my page. I'd have the matte paper with this little cut apart stripe just to separate, just provide some separation between the journaling, I guess, and that solid piece of paper. I went with the matte paper because I thought it went really well with a teenage boy and also a back to school layout, and sort of implies a journey or going places. And so here I'm just, it's quite cringy to watch actually because I'd arranged that whole sentence and now I'm essentially ruining it. Not ruining it, but moving it round. So I wanted to trim off some of the white, and so I've just lifted up that stripe paper because I don't want to trim down the whole 12 by 12, and that's just because I want to put some of that yellow paper behind just as a border, and I guess for a bit of interest, especially because that matte paper is going to cover that whole third of the page. So this took a bit of fiddling around because I don't measure, I just kind of eyeball. I did measure the amount that I cut off each side of the white cardstock. So that's what I'm wanting to achieve there. And excuse my cat if you can hear her, Lola. She's a very loud cat. So then I'm just marking off because I said this is my favourite paper and I don't want to waste any of it. So I'm gutting it, which is a good thing to do if you're wanting to be careful with not wasting, or even if you love the paper and want to use more of it. So just using my double-sided tape, and then off camera I will machine stitch. So just putting it back together here, and the important thing is to use my mat to line it up to be a 12 by 12. And then I'm wanting to get the same sort of amount as a border, and it's not perfect. My stitching isn't perfect either, but it doesn't matter, it's adding to that homemade look. And I really don't think going through the album anybody except for me is going to look at it and think that's not perfect. So then I'd forgotten my title. I'd forgotten the flow of the words, so I had to stop my phone, which I'm recording on, go and have a look, and then put them back together. And I didn't want you to have to watch that process of me putting everything back down because it was quite tedious. And here I'm just adhering those little letters with some glue, and then just to add a bit of interest, because the die cut titles are quite bold because they are made to be titles, I just added some stitching underneath my little words, and that's just to add some interest really. And so then coming back to putting everything back together, and I think I almost did stuff up this part, just to make them pop even more because they are the product focus, I have backed them with some craft foam. Otherwise I think this side of the page is going to be quite flat and not have much dimension. So I like the way that looks. I've used a mix of like pop dots and craft foam just to where the words are big and wide, and I want to use craft foam so I'm not wasting my pop dots. Craft foam is really inexpensive and you can just get it from your local craft store. So yeah, I'm happy with how this is turning out. The yet It's got an exclamation mark at the end, and the die had this tiny, tiny little dot, and there was no way I was going to be able to handle gluing that down. So I'm just using some of the enamel dots from the collection just to put a full stop and then the dot on my exclamation mark. Now I needed to tie the layout together in some way, otherwise it's quite blocky. So I'm just using 2 of these gorgeous star ephemera pieces, and they're just stunning. I've seen some amazing things done with them, not only by the design team but by other people that have been using this gorgeous collection. And then I wanted to bring back some more of the yellow, and his tie is like a navy and yellow stripe, and I just thought this paper just matched so perfectly, and it also ties in the yellow border that I've just added. So this took a bit of fiddling around. I've cut out a lot of the video, and there was a lot of fiddling off camera. I struggled, I don't know why, but I really struggled with this layout. I just want to be honest and say that not everything comes easily for me. I don't know if it's the design, if it's the size of the photo, if it's because I didn't add any splatters or anything at all, so it's quite a clean layout for me. I'm not really sure, but in the end I was really happy with how the layout turns out, and he loves it, which is the most important thing, right? Especially when your kids get to be teenagers. And I know that he notices that I don't scrap as many pages of him anymore, and part of that is because he's more independent, I guess, and I'm not with him all the time taking photos all the time, or he's not letting me take photos all the time, or he's pulling funny faces in the photos. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because I do scrap those photos as well, but my kids are very good at knowing that at the beginning of the school year I will be taking their photo, and I take it outside in our garden because it's summer and it just it's lovely out there at that time of the year. So now I'm wanting some layers behind my photo, and I'm using the papers that I've cut the letters from. That obviously that brick, sort of wood grain brick, isn't one of the ones, but I wanted to add that as well, just to add some interest. And I'm distressing my edges as always, and I'm wanting to put my papers slightly angled also for some interest. And you'll see soon that I think I placed one of them wrong, and I end up with my photo not straight. So that's something that annoys me. If I put my photo down and it's not straight unintentionally. So then I found this little tab from the ephemera pack. It says memorable, and I thought that was perfect. I just wanted to add something in that little gap there. So I've distressed the edges just to go along with the distressing phase that I'm in at the moment. I don't think I can make a layout with distressing the edges. And I actually intended to distress the edge of the matte paper and also that blue and white stripe that I forgot. But it's fine, it's no big deal. So here you can see I'm struggling with putting my photo down straight. I do find with double-sided tape, if you pull it up immediately, it's pretty forgiving. So here I'm adding some liquid adhesive as well, because I've discovered that some double-sided tape doesn't hold very well in the future. And here I was going to put the star there, but yeah, not in a good position on his body, if you get what I mean. So I put it at the top. And same with the glue. This glue dries really quickly, but if you lift something up, you can, it's forgiving as well, and then just rub away the excess. So here my star intentionally going off the edge of the page, both of them, and that bigger one going across the border or across the 2 parts of the page, so that I haven't got it separated into 2/3 and 1/3. So then I found these 2 arrows in the ephemera pack, and also this Incredible, and I was going to put the Incredible there, but I was having trouble gluing it down, I think with just the dimension. So I put my tweezers on top. Then I thought, let's add a few more stars, because I think stars go really well with a boy, even a man kind of page, and the back to school page. Looking at the stickers to see if there's anything else I can add, and I found a couple of phrases. One says love this and the other one says love it. So I'm just popping up the end with some dimension, and then adding this little green star also on some dimension, and this orange one. And I go back later and just lift the edges up, just for extra added interest, which I love to do. And so because I've put that love this at the top, I want to add something else to the bottom, so I put love it, because I do. And then I decided I was going to give up on putting that incredible there. And so you can't really tell, but there's actually a lot of dimension underneath that photo with those sort of distressed and bent up layers and the craft foam. So I don't really need any more journaling, just to say that it was the first day of year 9 at high school, and the date, of course, which was actually, looking at it now, was the 30th of January. So yeah, he went back earlier than my girls. Added an extra arrow, and that is my layout. So I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, head over to the Coco Vanilla blog and you can read a bit more of the detail in my process. So yeah, thanks guys for watching, and I'll be back again soon.